told you there's a point in retirement where continuing to invest actually becomes a mistake. But there's one chart that shows you exactly when that point is. The common belief is to rely on the market in retirement, but the truth is, at a certain point, it's no longer about growing your money. It's about making sure you have a stable income that will support your lifestyle.
And as retirement advisors for 21 years, Anna and I have seen many clients that were shocked this chart even existed. And if you're unaware, you could also delay your retirement or even cut your lifestyle when it matters most.
So in this video, we will show you how to read this chart and what it means for you. But most importantly, when to make that shift from worrying about investing to actually enjoying your retirement. Now, before we show you the full chart, think about your current investments. If your income is dependent on your investments, what happens to your income when your money runs out? With every traditional investment, stocks, REITs, CDs, bonds, your income is only as strong as your account value. The two are always locked together. For example, bonds can face significant interest rate risk, where rising rates can cause the bond's value to fall.
And yes, you can make more with stocks, and true, you can retire while the market is up. But here's a problem. What if you retire while the market is actually crashing? Sure, you could say you'll just wait for the market to recover, and markets can recover, but retirement doesn't wait. Your mortgage doesn't wait. Your vacations and time with your loved ones don't wait. Life keeps moving, whether the market is up or down.
So if your value drops at the wrong time, your lifestyle is at risk. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't get to choose. You retire when life says it's time, and the market doesn't care. Now, imagine if your stocks, REITs, or CDs made zero interest and you were taking out income, say 12% per year. Your balance would obviously drop to zero. Your income would then disappear.
But watch what happens on this chart. This chart is showing a retirement portfolio that earns nothing. And to make matters worse, any income or fees are deducted from your cash value. Now, pay attention to the right side of this chart. Your income continues for life. In this example, you put in $100,000, but you still get $12,195 or 12.195% for life. And the math is linear, meaning if you put in $1 million, you would get 12.195% of the million for life or $121,950 per year, guaranteed for life, even when the cash value hits zero.
Now, this first chart is assuming you make 0% interest for 30 years, which is impossible to earn 0% every year. But if you use the chart that shows the past performance based on the past 12 years repeating itself, you can see your cash growing and you still get the same income for life. So you do have the benefit of your cash growing, but the key is whether your cash grows or not, that income never stops either way. And in this example, you'll still get the 12.195 guaranteed for life.
This is the only strategy in existence where your income has nothing to do with your account value. Once you see it, you'll never forget it.
So what strategy is this chart actually showing? The one where income continues for life, even if the account value drops to zero? It's an insurance contract. But before you click away, it's not life insurance or what some call infinite banking. This is not a variable annuity with high fees. It's not an annuity that locks up your money for life. It's something most people have never been shown.
The strategy that most people are never shown is a modernized pension, what we call a hybrid pension. But what's the catch? Is this just some fancy name for an insurance contract called an annuity? The truth is, pensions and Social Security are both insurance contracts. Your Social Security is funded by FICA, Federal Insurance Contribution Act. Before hybrid pensions were created in the early 2000s, only traditional pensions, annuities, and Social Security can ensure a guaranteed income stream.
But here's the interesting thing. Retirement today is considered stressful. But before the 1980s, when pensions were common, retirement was considered stress-free, something to look forward to. Why? Because pensions were not dependent on how the market is doing.
When people had pensions, they could retire early regardless of what the market was doing. Their retirement income was almost identical to their income at work. In some cases, their pensions were more than when they were working. How about their 401k though? Well, they didn't exist. No one retired with a 401k or a massive IRA. And yet no recession would scare them from retiring. It didn't matter if they retired during the oil crisis. The markets up and down would never affect their lifestyle. For those who had a pension in more recent years, they were still able to retire even during the dot-com crash or the 2008 Great Recession.
That's why we want to help you make retirement simple. Think about your working years. You never once thought, I hope the market is up so I can pay my mortgage. Rather, you had a dependable salary. It showed up every 2 weeks like clockwork. That's what made your investments feel like a bonus and not a necessity. Your retirement should work this exact same way. Contractual income as your foundation. Everything else is a bonus. That's what people feel when they finally see the chart on how a hybrid pension works. They stop worrying about the market because they no longer have to depend on it.
The reality is no other investment, no other insurance contracts. Only hybrid pensions have an all-in-one concept, much like your smartphone or smart TV. Hybrid pensions can give you flexibility, control, and growth of your cash value. But most importantly, promise you a contractual guaranteed lifetime income.
But even with the benefits of guaranteed income, there's still a major problem with Social Security, traditional pensions, and annuities. True, they will give you a guaranteed lifetime income, but Social Security and pensions and traditional annuities, they lock up your money for life. You have no flexibility to change your mind or get your money back.
And this is where people get stuck. They don't want to guarantee their income by locking up their money for life. And most people don't even know that there are hybrid pensions where you never have to lock up your money. And not even knowing this key point could cause you to miss out on one of the best strategies to retire early and never worry about the markets.
Here's a quick summary on how they work. Your principal is fixed because you are protected from market volatility. But if you live too long or if your money is not growing, you will still receive the contractual guaranteed income for life. And here's the number one reason why retirees love hybrid pensions versus traditional annuities. You have the flexibility to change your mind and cancel the hybrid pension and reinvest it elsewhere. Or you can pass the remaining cash value to your beneficiaries. Traditional annuities and pensions, they do not have that flexibility.
But there is a trap to watch out for. Not all hybrid pensions are the same. There are fixed and variable versions. Variable versions do guarantee income, but they charge around 3 to 5% in fees every year. The ones we recommend are fixed hybrid pensions. Fees typically range from 0% to only 1%. You still have the lifetime income guarantee, but at a fraction of the cost compared to variable versions.
But there's something to look out for. Guaranteed income is only worth it if the payouts are high enough to beat the markets. And no, we're not just talking about capturing 6 to 9% payouts, but locking in on double-digit payouts of 10 to 20%. And we'll show you how to capture these high payouts later in the video. If you're new to hybrid pensions, check out our full playlist, which we'll show you at the end of this video, or you can look at the description below.
This is the shift. Think about teachers, government workers. Their paycheck never says, sorry, the market's down, your paycheck is smaller now. And the chart we showed you shows the same thing. Your income won't be affected by your account value. Knowing your account value doesn't have to grow to get these payouts, and seeing the guaranteed income for life is in your contract, you will no longer worry about investing in the market. Like having a dependable salary through work and getting a bonus on the side. Investments will be a bonus to your contractually guaranteed hybrid pension.
If this is already changing how you think about retirement, please like and subscribe. And as a thank you, here's a picture of Gracie showing what it looks like to retire stress-free with a hybrid pension. Now that you have seen this hybrid pension chart, which shows that your income is guaranteed regardless of your cash value, the first thing most people ask is, okay, but when is the best time to make the shift from growing your money to locking in your income? Yes, just like timing the market can help you grow faster, timing a hybrid pension can help you capture those 10 to 20% payouts instead of only 6 to 9%. That's a massive loss on income for life if you don't know when to make that shift.
Here's the mistake we see constantly. Someone comes in ready to retire and they want to receive income immediately. And yes, you can do that, but you'll only lock in around 6 to 7% payout, and that number doesn't go up. And when people see only 6 to 7%, the first reaction is, that's it? I can do better in the market. And honestly, you might be right. But here's the real issue. It's not that this is a bad product. It's bad timing. The product is only as powerful as the plan behind it. So what's the single most important factor here? It's not the product. It's not the company. It's not even how much you put in. It's strategic timing. Time is the tool that turns 6% into 10, 12, or even 20%.
For example, let's say you're in your 60s and want a payout right away. Your payout is only 6 to 7% for life. Now, if you delay 2 to 4 years, it grows to 8 to 9%. How about 5+ years? You'll have a massive double-digit payout of 10 to 20% contractually guaranteed for life. Same product, same company. But when you make that shift, makes all the difference.
And true, you might be getting double digits in your current investments now. But the reality is, you cannot depend on that every year for the rest of your life. These 10% to 20% payouts will have no ups and downs like the stock market, and it will be for the rest of your life.
And the interesting thing is, even if your timing wasn't perfect, you're still ahead. Every single one of those payouts beats the 4% rule most advisors still recommend. You can check the description below where we compare those payouts to the typical 4% rule or the 5% rule. And here's more good news. Strategies combined with your hybrid pension plan can help you enjoy retirement to its fullest. And that's exactly why we created our proprietary staging and laddering strategy that looks at all your other income sources and assets to plan the best way to defer and get more income at different stages of retirement. There's also our supercharged RMD and Roth strategy that we use in combination with the hybrid pensions. This now supercharges your retirement to make it as tax efficient as possible.
Now, combining the right timing with our strategies, that's what will help you to capture these 10% to 20% payouts that no one talks about. And this helps you to generate more income using less money. We also represent over 50 plans in all 50 states, so we can shop for the best payouts while minimizing your taxes.
Lastly, let me share with you a real-life example that made the most common retirement mistake. Our client Michael gave us a call. He needed income for his lifestyle. Plus, his wife was in assisted living. He did months of research on different types of investments to support his income needs. But relying on the market, especially with today's conditions, was making him lose sleep.
And here's the mistake he was making. He was too concerned about growing his cash, and honestly, most people do, but he was taught that. And like everyone else, he thought that you need the cash to grow in order for his income to last. And that's why it was so stressful for him.
But then reality kicked in after we showed him that one chart. For the first time ever, he saw a vehicle that would provide him with income for life, regardless of his cash value. But the chart did not flip the switch right away. We had to remind him of the 3 types of income that also did not rely on the markets. That was his Social Security and pensions. And here's where it really hit him. His previous paychecks through work also did not rely on the markets.
Yes, all 3 types of income are never tied to any account value or market conditions. Now, some people hear hybrid pension and think, well, that's for people who don't know how to invest. Well, let me ask you something. When you were working, did you tell your employer, don't give me a salary, only pay me on stock options and dividends? Of course not. You still want as a base a guaranteed paycheck. Your stock options or 401k were just icing on the cake. Well, your retirement should work the same way. Make contractual income your foundation. Make investments as a bonus. And that's what Michael has now. And that's why he stopped worrying. Not because the stocks got better, but because his lifestyle no longer depended on it.
So as a recap, what is actually supporting your lifestyle in retirement? Most people think it's their investments. But is this how retirement should really look? Well, picture an upside down triangle. The narrow tip at the bottom is your guaranteed contractual income. And here's the problem. For most people, that's your Social Security. And balancing on top of that narrow point, you have all your other assets, your bank savings, and all your other investments. Your entire lifestyle is sitting on an unstable tip.
This reminds me, Ann, of the tips, what you call the tippy top that we used to play as a kid. If your investments are doing well, it's like that tippy top spinning continuously. But one bad year, one recession at the wrong time, one unexpected expense, your whole tippy top just tips over. And that's where retirement can break. Your entire lifestyle changes. In worst case, you go back to work. Sadly, this picture is today's reality for most people's retirement. No wonder retirement feels unstable, because there's nothing solid on the bottom holding it up.
Now let's flip that triangle around. When you bought your house, your car, it wasn't because of your 401k, it was because of your strong base. your contractual guaranteed income. Even when you get a mortgage, the bank cares more about your income than your assets. Your lifestyle and comforts of life didn't happen because of market performance, but rather because of your contractually guaranteed income, which was your salary.
Yes, the moment your contractual income can fully support your lifestyle without depending on the market to perform is when you made the shift. The shift from investing to enjoyment, from hoping the market holds to knowing your income shows up, no matter what, every month for life. And here's the best part, having a paycheck that's never dependent on the cash growth. Your retirement lifestyle triangle would be the same as when you were working, if not better, because you no longer are watching the market, you're living life. And now you know that if you delay that point in time, your payouts will only be 6 to 7%. But if you make that shift early enough, you'll capture 10% to 20% payouts.
Now, as we wrap up, there's one more thing most people forget to plan for, and it quietly erodes everything we just talked about. Income in retirement is only half the battle. Inflation is retirees' worst enemy. Even guaranteed income is only powerful if it keeps up with the cost of living. And if you don't solve for inflation, your purchasing power declines over time. Done correctly, you'll get more than 10 to 20% payout.
To help cover inflation, we've helped many retirees structure retirement income, capturing 20% to 30% payouts in later years through what we call our laddering out and in strategy.
No, this is not the same as laddering bonds or CDs. This is a proprietary strategy we developed for hybrid pensions. This strategy keeps up with life and inflation, and we break this down in our next video here.
And if you're brand new to hybrid pensions, click down here.
If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on all of our retirement strategies. We'll see you in our next video.